In this lesson, we're just going to get really familiar with the elements that exist in the funnel builder and look at how to optimize for both desktop and mobile as we start to build our funnel out. So let's dive into the screen share and find out how to do it. Okay, working on my demo funnel here. It's currently blank, so there's absolutely nothing being done to this so far. But one of the first things I want to do is I just want to add a product. So I am selling my SaaS plan here. Now I'm going to add in $4.97 a month. I'm going to add in the antelope, the cheetah, the antelope plan, which was $2.97 a month. And then of course I have a hare plan, which was $97 a month. So I've got the three products. The system's mentioning to me that, recurring products aren't supported through PayPal as a gateway, and that's okay. You can see that it's telling me the type, and if I wanted to go and edit them or remove them, they're there. It also gives me the internal ID. So there are instances where, and you'll find out later in future lessons, we want to log into Stripe and manipulate these products. Things like payment plans, customers authorizations, etc. need to be done at the Stripe end, not the CRM end. I've got my three products. I'm happy to go. Of course, it doesn't need to be an e-commerce funnel. It could be absolutely anything. I'm just using this as an example because, of course, in this course, we're talking all about selling SaaS. So here's my first step. Now let's go back to our overview and let's create something from blank. So we're familiar now with how we could globally set some aesthetic changes to our funnel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add some rows. So the way that HTML elements get broken up is basically working in a grid system with different columns. So in this funnel, what I want to do is I just want to start with a single row, with a single column, and a single image, which is going to be my company logo. Remember from our lessons around the media library, what I can do is I can make sure that I'm on the settings of my image, and I might give this element a name. So I'm going to call it, header logo, to make sure that I can refer back to it later. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly say, well, where is the logo file for this image? And here it is. Now I've chosen a collaborative logo between my organization, another parent organization of mine, and GoHighLevel. That's just my choice. Now, once I've selected that image, you can further manipulate how big you want. I always choose to optimize the load, so that's some internal caching that will essentially load images as users are scrolling through, if the funnel is quite big, when a user actually gets to them on the page. This is important for user experience. Of course, you could add some additional actions. So if somebody clicks on that image, you could choose between going to a pop-up or going to an external URL. We're not going to do any of that right now. All we're doing is simply adding the image. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a headline, and the headline is going to be grab your reputation management software today. Okay, I'm being a little bit crude with the example, but you'll start to see this all unfold when we start to get into our strategy. Now we might have another single column underneath with a sub headline, which will be some additional information. Underneath that, we would want a full width 2 column, and we're going to have a bulleted list with features. And then next to that, we're going to have an image which is going to have essentially some items of features and functionality. So this screenshot might be, for instance, a screenshot of an area in the system. I'm selling software as a service, an area of the system, and then listed here is I'm going to have a bulleted list. Notice that when you roll over something that can be edited, you can change it from paragraph through to the different styles of headings, or you can clear the formatting as well. You can roll over it and you can create a link, and you can do things like bold, italic, underline, strike throughs, etc. When we click off, we can now then get a good view of all of our sections through the manage sections. Now I like to give all of my sections names. So this section is just called section, whereas I want to call this the header section. And so that now when I'm trying to navigate through, once I've got, sort of 5 or 10 sections, at a glance, I know exactly which one I'm trying to get. Now it's important that you do understand which section you're currently looking at, and they are highlighted in the green outline. Green outlines are the sections. Let's just click save. Now, back on to my sections, if we're clicking manage, what I can see here is I can look at toggling the visibility of a section. What's interesting about this is that you get to sort of get an understanding of, navigating. So to move this section below, I could just click on this button here and it would move that section, take me directly to that section. Of course, I can duplicate a section just by clicking this button, and so it will just duplicate what I've just created here. And maybe you want to call that header 2. Or maybe I want to use this in the footer. So I would just call this the footer section. And all I've done is I've duplicated it through. So now I've got a footer. Now, essentially, what is another thing that is important to note is sections are either visible or not on the form factor that somebody is viewing you on. So right now, if we click on one of these sections, what we can do is we'll click on the green section here and we'll click on advanced. And then under advanced, you'll see visibility. Visibility is showing the icon of a desktop and a mobile device. And this is particularly interesting when you start using things that it's a template that you've bought from a marketplace, you've inherited a funnel from a snapshot. You need to know in which form factor each of your elements are going to be visible on. So for instance, if I don't want this to be visible on a mobile device because it's terrible for its user experience on those form factors, I just simply click on the element and then uncheck mobile device. Now, if I preview this on a mobile device, it's not going to show up. And of course, when we do a preview, we can preview on different form factors. So here's this logo, which is currently showing on a mobile device, and here's this one, which is currently not. If we hit preview and we go into preview this, I'm currently on the desktop, which means I see both of those elements. If I was to go over here and I was to look at the mobile device preview, what I'm now seeing is just the first one. So if we then click preview, it gives me the preview in desktop, now mobile. And you can see only one of those is visible. That's a nice overview for now. Let's see you again in the next lesson.